What?
Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, my man G Witt.
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Tighten up, tighten up. Welcome back, man. Off season 2020.
Back in full effect.
Back in full effect.
Football season started this
Football season started this week. Started with the annual combine.
Man.
Of 2020 and a lot of big names at the combine, right?
Yeah, a lot of big names. A lot of big names. A lot of big doings going on, man. And the Titans in what I won't say an enviable position, but I would say that we're in a position that, you know, is kind of surprising for us as fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the level of free agents, we're talking about this on the team that we're going to try to figure out. The Titans going to try to figure out who to keep, who to let go. You know, even those who are basically really signed, but still players that could possibly be gone. You know, before the season started, as Mike Vrabel has already said in an interview, the team is going to look different
Right.
in 2020 than it did in 2019. So it's going to be interesting to see what he and John Robinson come up with as far as the makeup of the team is concerned.
Yeah, because, you know, going into this offseason, we already know we got a question at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Is Tannehill a long plan for this team, long success plan for this team? You know, can Derrick Henry be signed without breaking the bank? You know, and I keep hearing all these Tom Brady rumors. I'm really tired of hearing that. So I would say it like this. So we do not need Tom Brady.
No, it's not a question of need.
Right.
It's not a question of need. Could we use somebody like him for maybe a year? Yeah, you could. I mean, if you really think about it, no, he doesn't run, doesn't move around, and our offensive line doesn't really protect. But one thing you can give about Tom Brady is that he gets the ball out quick. You know, and the deal is, does your game plan fit around him as far as a short yardage game plan and things of that nature? He can get the ball out. With a running game taking the stress off of him passing, you know, his arm might last a full season. You never know. You may get to game 7 and all of a sudden his arm just, Father Time said that's it for your arm. You know, I mean, let's be honest about it. You know, Tom Brady's played a long time at the quarterback position and played it at a high level.
Right.
But let's be real about it. Father Time does not lose.
That's right.
Father Time just doesn't lose. So that's what we're going to see with Tom Brady is that it's not a question of if, but when.
Right.
Because it's going to happen.
And, you know, and the rumor is he 2 years, $60 million. So I mean, in my opinion, why would you break the bank when you're building a young core to sign a guy for a couple years? Now, Doug, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. He is a great quarterback. He is one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
But why, you know, invest all that money into him when you can build up around and you got needs, right?
And here's the other thing about it, and this is the thing that I said when the Peyton Manning deal was going around, you know, between, you know, when they was trying to get him signed back when Mike Munchak was the coach. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I always say is that the problem you have when you do sign guys like this is that you're mortgaging your future.
Right.
Because it's going to be hard for you to find a quarterback after him.
Right.
And people don't realize that because once he goes, then all of a sudden you're looking for a rookie to come in and start. If you look at Denver and you look at seeing what they're doing, then Denver is still struggling trying to find a quarterback after Peyton Manning. Granted, they got a Super Bowl out of it.
Right.
But they're still struggling.
And that's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking about the same thing, how Denver, you know, they signed Peyton Manning, right? Yeah. And then still struggling today to get a franchise quarterback.
Absolutely.
So let's look. So, you know, the Titans have a 29th pick coming up in this year's draft, which is the price of success, right?
Oh, this is true.
As J-Rob says.
This is true.
You know, you have a good run into the AFC Championship game, and this is what you get. You get the pick at the 29th pick in the draft.
Yep.
And so you really got to have a good strategy, game plan going into the draft because of the availability that might be there when you pick, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, just looking over the draft, some people that stuck out to you. I know you watched it in detail, and
well, I tried.
so
I didn't get to. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't get to see much, but I tried to watch as much as I can. I did watch the QBs and the. You know, I always like watching the big uglies, the old linemen, the defensive linemen, and the defensive linebackers and everything. But the running backs look good as well. I did get to see all of them.
You know, speaking of quarterbacks, so, you know, we're going to go see Tua, and they talked about Joe Burrow's hand size. That was a big talk all week. But, you know, Justin Herbert shows a good combine, right? And performs well and shows good arm strength is what we knew he had coming into the combine.
But, you know, I'm particular, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
And they, you know, I tend to listen a lot more when these guys are talking, especially when you get somebody like a scout like Daniel Jeremiah, or you get somebody like Kurt Warner on the field talking about him and everything. And one thing you notice about Justin Herbert, don't get me wrong, strong arm, can get the ball out, especially on the long ball. He looked great on the long ball. But the problem you have is the fact that he tends to not let the ball go.
Right.
Now, where have we heard that before?
Right. We just had that same quarterback, right?
Come on. We still got the same thing now because we talk about Ryan Tannehill. One of his flaws is that he holds the ball too long.
At times,
At times he holds the ball too long, and you got the same problem with Justin Herbert. So you got to look out for that.
Yeah.
Another quarterback they had that actually was you thought was pretty good was Jake Fromm from Georgia.
Yeah.
He looked very sharp and everything, but the problem you have with him is arm strength.
Arm strength.
And the bottom line in the NFL, you have got to be able to throw an out.
Got to be able to throw an out.
And he may not be able to throw an out. Oh man, we're all sideways here.
Yeah, I apologize for technical difficulties. I'm not sure why the screen is sideways, so we'll try to get your comments. I don't want to try to fix it and mess up the show, but we appreciate you sticking with us throughout this issue. But anyway, there is a lot of speed, looks like, in this draft, especially the receiver position.
Oh, yeah.
DB, the big names, the Judy and the Ruggs and the other kid.
Ruggs almost at the record, man. I mean, come on. And I heard Michael Irvin bring up the problem that with the speed guys. The problem you have is the fact that they tend to not run good routes because they can't slow down, but. Let's be honest about it. Ruggs did pretty good in Alabama, man. I mean, he ran some pretty good routes and everything, so it's a little bit different.
Now, mind you, he had a big dog on the side of the field in Judy. So
that's true. Took a lot of pressure off of him.
Right.
That's true.
But him and CeeDee Lamb, they, not only do they have speed, they're good route runners.
Yeah, they're good route runners. So, and that's the difference. The question is, can he run the routes in the NFL, and can you get loose? The bottom line is, and what we've seen with our receivers this year, and what we're hoping to see an improvement on, is the physicality of the game. Them getting open in spite of press or man coverage. Because with press and man coverage, you saw where our boy got a little frustrated at times because of the way the refs were not calling the game for him. When you start barking at the referees because they're not holding or whatever, I understand that's some receiver mentality. That's fine.
Right.
But, bottom line is you got to work your way through.
Deion, we took some weeks off, man. It was all season for us, too. We took a little break, but we back, man.
Well, I'll be the first one to tell you, man, that AFC Championship game took a lot out of me, man. It really did,
It did.
It hurt my heart, man. And then on top of that, they replayed it on the NFL Network, and I got to see it again. I got to relive it. I'm like, oh, man.
But we're back now, man. Because football season is on the way. Free agency ready to come up in a few more weeks. The NFL season starts, the new season, 2020 anyway.
Right.
And so a lot of big things coming for the this is go like John Robinson said, you just mentioned her, this team is going to look different in 2020. How different it's going to be is yet to be seen. Hear a lot of people talking about, man, we need to get rid of Conklin, we need to do this, do that. So what do you think, Grove, out of the list of 20 that we got, because 20 guys, there are some big names in there, mind you. So who do you think and why?
Well, here's my thing, and if it's me at this point in time, I'm looking at it from this standpoint.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, definitely, if you can, keep them both.
Right.
I think they really key your offense, especially I think Derrick Henry really opens things up for Ryan Tannehill with the play action and everything. Mm-hmm. To me, if you can, you keep Jack Conklin, because the bottom line is, one thing you want on that offensive line is continuity. The offensive line was a weak spot this past season. So you want to try to improve on that with the players that you have. I think with the continuity they finally developed towards the end of the season, they got better. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a big deal. So Logan Ryan, I understand a lot of people think you should keep him and everything, and I get that because of his leadership capabilities and everything.
Right.
But the bottom line is, we saw it a lot. Although he's good short yardage and everything, but his lack of speed is really coming to the forefront, and he's really not good in coverage anymore. He's good blitzing and everything. He's a good read and good in short yardage situations,
right,
but he's not good in blitzing. Of course, the other ones you already know are probably gone, like Marcus and Wesley Williams. They're probably done. Kevin Padfield is probably done. He never did pan out.
He didn't even play this year.
Didn't even play the whole year. Dennis Kelly, I think they'll probably keep him because if they can just sign him to a decent deal, because he's a good utility guy.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he's a backup, and we talked about it early last year.
That's right.
In training camp, he's got slow feet. He's got real heavy feet. That's one of his biggest issues and everything. Then, of course, you got, to me, Correa, Austin Johnson,
You know, speaking of Correa, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Because he really played his way onto another year. He deserves another year with this football team.
I think so too.
Because early on in the season, we knew he was weak in pass coverage.
Yeah.
But then they found his niche, rushing the pass and playing the run. And I think
after Finch went down and then they ultimately let him go. I think you found Correa played the run extremely well and rushed the quarterback really well and everything. So, but people like Tremaine Brock, I think David Fullerton is probably gone. Chris Milton, Darius Jennings is already gone. But you look at somebody, Tajay Sharp.
Tajay Sharp is another interesting position.
I mean,
when he got his opportunities, he showed up. He made great catches.
But the bottom line is what you got with Tajay Sharp, Corey Davis, and AJ Brown. You got really three possession receivers. Are you going to need all of them?
That's right.
And that's the bottom line with that. Of course, LaShawn Sims is probably gone. Ty Smith, I don't know. Anthony First was already being extended for a year, so is Cameron Basson. Mm-hmm. So out of all those free agents, Chris Milton, the cornerback, he's probably gone.
Right.
Reggie Gilbert, linebacker, he's probably gone. So, it's just one of them things where we just got to wait and see. But, you can look at somebody like you think pretty well that Delaney Walker probably won't be back.
Yeah, I can see that.
You think probably your boy Deion Lewis probably won't be back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Those are
cap moves.
Those are cap moves, though.
Yeah.
You can make those cap moves and free up a lot of cap space and everything. So I think those things trying to help out a little bit. But it's going to be a much different team. It's going to be interesting to see how all this works out because John Robinson is getting ready to earn his keep this offseason, man.
If it's going to be offseason where he earned his money, it's going to be
this one. And what he does is going to matter a lot come July, August, and September, man, because they're going to have a lot to work with.
Yeah, and you're right. If we do keep Jack Conklin, it will be the highest paid offensive line
yes,
in the NFL.
Especially since the rumor out there is that first they had the Browns, wanting them, and now they got the Jets talking about the Jets saying they're going to sign him regardless. So you start thinking in those terms, man.
And they talking up with what 18, 20 million a year.
So Jack Conklin, he's about to be a rich man.
Yeah.
Ain't no ifs and buts about it.
I mean, if he does walk, like you say, you got Dennis Kelly, which would be a good swing guy until you get a rookie offensive tackle.
But you got to draft one.
Yeah, you got
to draft one, and you need to draft an athletic right tackle. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you though.
Yeah.
There's some guys in the draft.
Yeah.
And you saw them at the combine.
Right.
Them jokers got some good feet, man. They got some good feet.
Some guys running.
They got some guys running some. I mean, you talking about 360?
The guy from Louisville, man.
365 running a 50 40. Come on, man. That's a lot of meat moving a lot real fast. I mean, and his split time was good. His split time was like a 1.8,
man,
which
crazy.
Is another guy from Iowa, man. His split time was like 1.68.
Yeah.
In the 10-yard split.
Tristan
Wirfs. Man, you need those guys, man.
Man, 36.5-inch vertical.
That's what I'm saying. But did you see the tree trunks on that guy?
Man, these guys are huge.
I mean,
4.85.
Who's growing these guys?
4.85. 4.85.
Who's growing these guys,
6'5",
man?
320.
You gotta feel sorry for his mama feeding him growing up, man. That boy was eating. But in all honesty, I mean, that's what you're looking for, though, with these guys. You're looking for something like that out of them. Yeah, there's some tackles to be had in the draft. So that's the thing about it.
Nate Davis at tackle.
No.
Gino, he did. Well, he did play some in college, but I think he's found a home at right guard.
At right guard.
I mean, he really came on toward the end of the year.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to give him his props.
He had his struggles, don't get it wrong, but then again, starting as a rookie, working his way, and then having to play in the playoffs the way he did. Hey, man, I had to give him his props. Now, granted, we went to more of a run-blocking deal than anything else in the playoffs, which was great.
Right.
And you saw he's great at run-blocking. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this O-line, man. But that's one area of improvement we've got to have. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I agree with you, Taylor. Deion Lewis is not a cat move. He's a non-player move. After that performance, I agree with you.
Well, and I'm pretty sure he knows, too. So, and, there's some good, change of direction backs in this draft as well.
Yeah.
Your boy from Florida State, Akers, is really good, so it's going to be good to see him. But still, you're going to need somebody behind Derrick Henry that's going to be able to handle that load for first, second, and including third down. Because the bottom line is, Derrick Henry, what makes him so great is not only his ability to make those long yards and make those gains and give you that power. It's how he affects the play action pass.
Right.
Because the bottom line was, and we saw it all season long, when Deion Lewis was in there on third down, everybody went for the pass. They didn't even pay attention to the run. And even when he ran, he didn't get anything.
That's right.
So the bottom line is he wasn't a threat running the ball, and no one anticipated him running the ball. They all knew it was going to be passed. So that does not help you. Deion Lewis did not help you in that regard. His pass blocking was good, but it's no good when they bring in the house.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
so
right.
The bottom line is we're going to see what happens on that. But as it stands right now, I think Deion might be gone. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out with the running backs. There's some good ones to be had.
They feeding that special bread makes you grow 8 legs.
They're doing something, man. I'm not sure what, but they're feeding an hour. Man, they're feeding them boys. That junk was huge.
So Taylor asked a good question. He said, "What happens at linebacker?" So at the edge, there was one guy that was, they were talking about Espinosa from Iowa.
Yeah.
Man, his combine, he ran a 5 flat.
Yeah.
And so they said he was going to be more of a defensive end because he was kind of slow. But he got 275 pounds. He could play a defensive end and maybe a 3-4 scheme. So at 6'5", 275.
Absolutely.
And he's got 32-inch vertical, 17 on the bench press. So, I mean, slow though. He's not fast, but maybe he's got some game speed that we don't know about.
It's got to be, with a guy like that, you got to look at his rush in the first 10 to 20 yards.
Yeah, 4.4 and 20-yard shuttle.
Yeah, so. You got to look at that. But the thing about it is, we forget about one guy that actually never got to play this season, and that was DeAndre Walker.
That's right.
You forget about him. He ended up hurting himself and spending the whole offseason on IR. So he comes back next year. He got a full offseason in his belt, been rested and everything. Now he's got to get in football shape. That's true enough. But still, that was a draft pick that everybody was pretty high on when we got him coming from the outside. So you're looking at having possibly a fairly young linebacker core. You got to remember, you got Rashad Evans will be back, Jayon Brown will be back,
right?
Harold Landry will be back. And if DeAndre Walker comes back and plays up to his potential that everybody thought he was going to have when he came out of college, man, we could have a very fast linebacker crew that could actually do some things.
Yeah, Kwame, we can go with hometown. Keyshawn Vaughn out of Perricone High School, and he's a good running back.
And he had a good combine too.
He
did have a good combine. They ran the new drill to Deuce Staley, and he actually ran that thing pretty clean, man. I had to give him his props for that. It was interesting to watch, man. They threw some new drills on at the combine, man, which I thought was pretty good.
You know what? One person that really stuck out. I'm gonna go back to the combine from Isaiah Simmons.
Ooh.
Man, he's 6'3" and 3/8, 200.
But he ran a 4.39, man.
As a linebacker,
and he played in Clemson, so he knows how to tackle and play defense. And got speed, so it's going to be interesting. But even let's be honest about some things too, man. One of the things we got question marks about, in all honesty, for the Titans coming into 2020 is the defense.
It's the defense. You're right. And not only is the defense, but it's the depth in the secondary.
Well,
as we saw last year.
Not only that, who's going to be calling the plays, man?
So we bring in a linebacker coach, and Verbal said we're not going to have a defense coordinator, and so he's going a Patriot route, which they don't have a true defense coordinator. They didn't. They said, Bill pretty much took over the defense and had some assistant coaches help. Is he thinking about doing the same thing?
Well, here's my thing. Somebody's got to make the call.
Somebody's got to make the call.
And I don't. And me personally, and this is just me.
Yeah.
I like Vrabel as a head coach. I really do. I think he makes some good decisions in the games. I think he makes good decisions. He has a good feel for the game, knows when to go for it, knows when to, even though he experimented a lot earlier in the season.
Yeah.
As the season went on, you saw how he actually managed the game really well as far as what they did.
Right.
But you just can't do that and call defensive plays at the same time. Because defense is unlike offense where, you call your play and everything and your quarterback has to adjust. On defense, you got to adjust to what the offense is doing.
Right.
And there's a lot to do. So you're hoping that by hiring Jim Haslett, they're going to get some – maybe he's going to be calling the plays.
Yeah, so Deion, that's a good statement. He says, I think Cameron Wake should get another year with the squad. He should pay dividends. Now, the 1.5 games that he played, he did all right. Of course, he got hurt right off the bat. But, against Cleveland, he had 2.5 sacks.
Yeah.
And then we didn't see him no more after that. because due to injury or whatever.
He played, and he played in some games. He influenced the game and everything. But the bottom line is we got to get something going to where we get more aggressive with the outside pass rush.
Right.
And also, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Jeffrey Simmons has a full off season.
You're right. So Jeffrey Simmons is coming back with a full off season, healthy. Like you said, you got DeAndre Baker. So we still got some young guys on this team yet to prove themselves. Now Jeffrey has showed flash of great potential.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but like you said, a full off season this year in the program, working out, in shape, come back for camp next year.
Well, and the thing about it is, what we're missing more than anything else, in all honesty, as far as the pass rush is concerned, we're missing that rush up the middle.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's been like that for I don't know how many seasons, man. We just
lost.
Don't get me wrong, Jarrell Casey does a good job, but we gotta have somebody that's gonna get that push up the middle. And right now, we just don't have it. Yeah. And once if we get that makes the outside rushers a lot better because one, the up the field rush up the middle makes quarterbacks have to either go left or right.
Right, that's right.
And if they got to go left or right, they can't step up in the pocket. You send them right to your pass rusher. Now Harold Landry's got to work on his moves because he got pushed to the outside too much.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know what's going to happen on the other side, opposite of him. But there's got to be some improvement over there on that side as well.
Well, you saw what happened to him last year. So he started off hot. He was getting sacks, had 9 for the year. But then the lack of push up the middle and the lack of that other side bringing pressure. And so everybody can focus on him, either double team, chip, whatever the case might be.
And they were moving him out. I mean, the offensive linemen and tackles were just moving him out.
Yeah, he's going to get a little bit more style in the pants.
Well, he's going to do some things different, and he's going to work on some better technique.
Yeah.
Understanding going against those tackles and everything, how he is he's a linebacker, but you got to be somebody like a Terrell Suggs. You're going to get some strength on you. You're going to get some moves on you to where you can actually get through those tackles and beat them. And get to the quarterback.
Yeah, and going back to the defensive coordinator for a minute, I thought the hiring of Jim Haslett was going to be defensive coordinator, but he's an inside linebackers coach. So we'll see. It's the season is young for 2020.
Well, it hasn't
new beginnings, right? I mean,
But I personally, I'm just going to be honest about it. I personally would prefer not to see Vrabel calling the defensive plays. I prefer him as a game manager. When he came in as a head coach, one of the things I said about him is that I want to see how he manages the game, how he has a feel for the game. I thought the smart move he did was hiring Dean Pease as the defensive coordinator. You got a veteran who knows how to call plays. I thought that was great. Allowed him to manage the game. And I think one thing he's proven in his 2 years as head coach is that he's good at managing the game.
Right.
He's good at knowing what to do and knowing how to make play calls when the game dictates it and everything. But, going for it on fourth down, things of that nature. But as far as calling the defensive plays, I just think we would be better off if we had a solid defensive coordinator. Maybe it's going to be Jim Haslett. I don't know. But I think you'd be better off as having a separate defensive coordinator.
Right. I don't know, Deion, that's another, because Haslett is a 4-3 guy. And can he call a 3-4 defense? He might have some experience. I don't know if he's been 4-3.
Well, you got to remember he worked in Pittsburgh for a while and called a defense up there, and they ran a 3-4.
That's right.
So that's the thing about it. So he can call a 3-4. He's now Jim Haslett's a good DC man.
Yeah.
He's a good DC. Matter of fact, I'm surprised he was out there and everything, but I know Vrabel, one of his biggest sticking points is that he still wants to stay. He doesn't want to get locked into one system as far as defense is concerned. He wants to be multiple.
Right.
So that's another reason why I think he's probably hesitating on bringing in another DC because he doesn't want to go and get locked into a system. He would prefer to be multiple, basically adjusted to who you're playing. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's think about it. As critical as I was, let me put it like this. As critical as I was of Dean Pease, I have to give him his credit in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Those 3 games we played, Patriots, the Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs, he really had some good defensive schemes. Based on when you go back and look at the games and everything, based on what he had working, the way he played it, granted, he not much of a pass rush,
right,
but he played a lot of zone and tried to keep quarterbacks in the pocket. The problem he ran into with Patrick Mahomes was that the fact that he could get out the pocket.
Right.
And make those off-schedule plays.
And those of us that was watching that was getting frustrated because, we've seen the same thing for a while, no pass rush.
Right.
But it was actually a game plan that way. I mean, I can understand people get that because I was upset. I was like, why are we not bringing no heat and getting to the quarterback? But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G Witt.
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up. Back for 2020 NFL offseason.
Whew.
Getting ready for the free agents. So free agents is the next big thing after the combine, of course. And one name that's been thrown around out there, and I don't know how you can make it work, because we're looking for an edge guy, right?
Yeah.
And so I keep hearing Clowney's name come up, as one of the potential suitors, because he's worked with Vrabel in Houston when he was a linebackers coach there. So he's got some connections with him there. There's a relationship there, and to me, I just don't see it because again. You're gonna pay him a lot of money. You bring him in, and you won't be able to sign back the core of your team that you got sitting out there that's in free agency. And so, I mean, we will see. We'll see. There are some other guys out there that they could get in free agency. They won't cost as much. And but what's your thought on that?
On Clowney? Okay, let me just be real about it. I've never been what you call a true Jadeveon Clowney fan. Don't get me wrong. He makes plays. I give him credit. He makes plays. I think sometimes he still, like he did in college, I think he still takes plays off too. That's the other problem I had with him. But I don't see us signing him simply because of the money issue.
Right.
It's just going to be too much money. And really, you mortgage your team almost. And the thing you're trying to avoid in free agency is mortgaging your team on one play.
Exactly.
You just don't want to do that. You want to have that flexibility to be able to do a couple of things. Right now, I'm hearing a lot about they're really pushing to try to get Tannehill's deal done. And I think one of the reasons for that is because of the new CBA agreement. If it comes to fruition, you're only going to have one of the two tags.
That's exactly right.
You're either going to have the transition or the franchise tag. And I think they're looking at if they can get Tannehill's deal done first.
Right.
Then if they have to use the franchise tag on Derrick Henry, it doesn't cost them as much, and they can work out a long-term deal with him later. Because Derrick Henry has been adamant about the fact that he wants to come back, and I understand the reason why, because of unfinished business. If Derrick Henry if we had went to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, Derrick Henry would be fine going to another team. But he feels like it's unfinished business here. He wants to finish it here. He wants to get that championship here. And I think that's one of the reasons why he wants to come back. So I think John Robinson is definitely going to try to get him back. I think they want to get Tannehill back. But the bottom line is, let's be real about it. In the draft, we got to be looking at quarterback. We got to be looking at running back. You're definitely going to have to be looking at offensive linemen.
Definitely.
And you definitely, and you're looking at areas of need. You definitely got to be looking at depth in the secondary. Because right now, you in a bind because Malcolm Butler comes back, Adoree Jackson comes back. Your safeties are already locked in. All right. But you got to get – you're going to lose LaShawn Sims unless you sign him back cheap and he becomes basically a special teamer.
Right.
But you got to go out there and find – you got to find another cornerback, man. I mean, they may have Hooker in there to replace Logan Ryan.
Because nickel situation. Yeah.
Because Hooker is a smart player, a good football player and everything. Right. So, but still you got to get some more depth in that secondary. Linebackers, you need more depth there as well, but I think – you got a lot of good young pieces already in place. I just think you might need I think losing Wesley Woodyard is going to hurt as far as his leadership is concerned. Don't get me wrong, Rashaan Evans I think is a great leader, but I think nothing replaces that veteran leadership. But I don't think Wesley Woodyard is going to be back. So we have to look at that and see how that's going to work out. I mean, because right now what you want to do is keep that leadership and that locker room intact, and as far as the leadership is concerned.
And another interesting name is Shaquille Barrett from Tampa Bay. He's a free agent. So a good young guy, good strong on the edge, had a good season. Mm-hmm. So there's some guys out there. Yeah. One person I don't think we need to pick up is Vic Beasley. He's an injury-prone guy. Yeah, he stayed hurt a lot. I heard his name bounce around. Yeah, one season.
He had that one good season where he led the league in sacks and everything, and after that, he was done.
Right.
Jason Pierre-Paul is out there, Robert Quinn is out there, but none of those guys really fit. I don't think what we try to do, Dante Fowler Jr., that would be funny to get him.
He's a 4-3 guy, right?
Yeah, he's a 4-3 guy, but, coming from Jackson, he played at Jacksonville, then coming here, that would be funny to get him. But it's going to be interesting to see. One thing I will say about John Robinson, he's a good talent evaluator. Everything doesn't always work out, but it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays. But he's a good talent evaluator. Like I said, this is going to be the as far as a GM, this is his season.
Yeah, because you got some critical core players.
Yeah.
That you need to get, and you need to add some depth.
Yeah.
And you don't need to break the bank.
and that's well, and you can pretty much guarantee that he learned from Bill Belichick. You know, if you notice, even with the deals he signed with these free agents, like with Delaney Walker, with Dion Lewis, those are all cap friendly deals.
Yeah.
You can let them go, and they don't hurt you as far as the cap is concerned.
Right.
So those are things that you can get away with as far as the deals are concerned. So he did good as far as negotiating the deals and all that. But the thing still is going to be what's he going to do with these players? How is he going to sign them? What the team is going to look like? Because, like I said, he's done a great job rebuilding the team from where we were.
Right.
The question is now, how does he do going forward? He's about to come the serious GM now, because now you made it to the AFC Championship game, and the fans here have gotten a taste of it. They don't want to go backwards,
right?
And I know he does.
The price of success, right?
Yeah.
So you've been that. Got to take the next step now.
You got to take the next step now. You know, they asked. I was watching the NFL Network when Mike Vrabel was on there. They asked him, you know, you talked about going from good to great, and you made it to the AFC Championship game. He said, what goes beyond being a great team and everything? Of course, you know, Mike blew it off and said, you know, the team that won the Super Bowl is the great team. Everybody else, we're just trying to get there. But, you know, he brought up a good point, though. He said the bottom line is we got to win more games in the regular season, because you found out you can't go. It's hard to go on the road and win 3 straight playoff games, man. It's hard.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's really tough. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a hard thing. And we said that after, you know, we played Kansas City, man. You know, all of a sudden you start hearing about these little injuries. You know, like I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago somebody told me, said Corey Davis was playing with turf toe most of the season. I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden, you know, you found in the Kansas City game that Rashard Evans had a foot injury.
Right.
You know, so it's just one of these things where you just can't keep going like that all the time. You admire the team because they fall through it.
Right.
You know, but the bottom line is, like Vrabel said, you got to have some home games, man, where you ain't doing all that traveling and you can actually get some rest.
And you talking about they went 19 games, right? So you play 16, you go 3 rounds of the play. That's a long season.
That's a long season.
That's a long season.
Yeah,
so,
that's really you know. And I'm gonna say this just for people out there, because I know people want to. I would say people may want to know.
Uh-oh.
As far as the CBA is concerned, 17 games. No, I'm not with it.
right.
I'm old school that way. Actually, I just think 17 games is too much. You know, I just, you know, I'm looking at player safety and the quality of play. To be honest with
you. Yeah, and that's a great point, because you know what do you gain out of adding an extra game? You know, really. Okay, they say you're gonna go down to 2 preseason games, but still, you know, you think about you cut down the time that you get ready, condition yourself to get ready for football, and then now you probably increase the likelihood of injuries, right? So,
and that's my whole thing. And the thing, and here's the thing about it: the problem with preseason, in all honesty, is really not the 4 games.
Yeah.
It's not the 4 games. Fans don't have a problem with the 4 games. You really want to know the truth about it. The problem they got with the preseason is that they charge regular season prices for a preseason game. Right. That's the problem they have with the preseason.
Oh, my gosh.
And the owners don't want to give up that money, which is why they want to go with 17 games. They don't want to give up that money. And I understand that it's a business and everything, but really, if you're trying to appease a fan, you can keep the 4 preseason games, just lower the ticket prices.
So Taylor says, drafted tight end, yes or no? I say yeah. You know, there's not a lot of free agencies out there. You got Hunter Henry out there. You got Eric Ebron, which, you know.
Well, okay,
but you go youth, right? Because you're building a team with young players, and you've got a good foundation. So you definitely drafted.
Let's be honest about it. What we saw this year, the tight end position worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonnu Smith came to the forefront. Recovered from his injury, actually played extremely well.
Played very well.
And you know, and blocking, catching the ball, the whole 9. So you're looking at it from the standpoint, they hadn't signed Michael Pruitt back yet, but they've already signed Anthony Firkser, so you knew had a feeling they were going to sign him. He was an easy sign.
Yeah,
he wanted to stay here because he's being used, and the man his problem is blocking. It's not catching. It's blocking. Okay.
That's exactly right.
So, yeah, but there are some tight ends out there in the draft that you can get, that you can bring in, that will be able to help you out. And there are some young guys that you saw in the combine who are actually more blockers than they are, route runners and catchers. And one who you never know may fall into your lap is Randy Moss's son.
Yeah, he had an injury going into the combine. But
well, John Robinson has shown he's not afraid to tackle somebody with an injury.
I know it. I know it.
He's done that 2 years in a row.
He got a good pair of hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we'll see.
Got a good pair of hands, but more importantly, he doesn't mind blocking.
No, he doesn't mind
He
blocking.
prefers to block than catch the ball.
You saw that.
You saw that.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about a guy who could possibly be, who has his, let's be honest about it, he has his dad's smarts as far as playing the game and everything, and fire as far as playing the game, but he's just in a different position. He's a blocking tight end who can really get out there and catch the ball and has good enough speed to get out there and open.
Right. So, guys, again, thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Hey there, on that G-Wit.
Tighten up, baby.
We're back,
Tighten
man.
up. We're back in full effect.
Thank you guys for joining us. The comments, the questions, keep them coming. So, like I said, free agency coming up, man. March 13th is the beginning. And
it'll be free agent frenzy, man.
And we'll see what happens, man. It's a lot of cap. So if these moves happen with Dion and Cameron Wake and Delaney Walker, that's going to free up about $10 million more. And so it'll put about $60 million in cap space. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's very interesting.
We'll see. Yeah, it's very interesting, and we're going to see what happens. Like I said, John Robinson, this is his year where he becomes a real GM. Well, I won't say becomes a real GM, but he proves his mettle. I mean, because right now, as Taylor said, you're retooling the team.
Yep.
You're remaking the team. You knew it was coming. Anybody who's watched NFL football for any length of time knows with the advent of free agency, after about 4 or 5 years, it's coming.
Yep.
You're going to have to make some changes. The reason why the New England Patriots have been so good for so long, they've been good at making these changes.
That's right.
That's where we have to get in order to maintain and be a sustainable, good team year in and year out. We got to be good at managing these changes because they're going to happen. They're going to happen. You can't.
I'm going to say John Robinson's really going to make himself well known.
Right.
If he's not known by the decisions he made for the long term,
right.
Like you just said. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Josh Norman, I don't think so, Taylor. He's going to ask for too much money first off.
Wait, hold it.
Yeah, and plus he's a Redskin.
Wait, the wrong person is asking that question. The wrong person is making that statement. A Redskin fan can't come up and tell you about, oh man, y'all can get Josh Norman. Like we don't know.
Right. Like, we know why he got released.
We know why he got released, Taylor. Come on now. We watched the Redskins a little bit too.
But Deion, you're Deion Bottom, man. We know who you are.
Yeah, we know you are, Deion. We talking
Deion
about
Lewis.
We talking about Deion with an eye.
You're right.
Okay. But no, seriously, Deion Lewis, I think he did good for the season and a half that we had him. But the bottom line is that you saw this past season that his worth is really gone down the tubes as far as that's concerned.
Right. So, again, thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Man, free agent, I can't wait. It's only a couple weeks out. This is the first day of March. Spring is around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Free agency is around the corner.
Start smelling the grass, man, before you know it. It's April.
It'll be the draft next month.
And then all of a sudden the camps start, man. The mini camps, the rookie camps, and next thing you know, man, we'll be going to training camp again.
I will say this, though.
Go ahead,
the XFL has provided a good little stopgap, man.
You think so, man?
It's better than nothing.
But this is true.
It's better than nothing.
This is true.
So,
this is true.
Do they bring back Blasingame at fullback?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think what you saw towards the end of the season and in the playoffs, he definitely earned his keep.
He did.
I think, I think he's a young guy that you can bring in. He's got hands. He can definitely block as a fullback, and he can run the ball.
Yeah.
So I think you definitely bring him back. I think he's earned that, the opportunity to be able to stick with the team.
Edward Lede, good to have you back too, man. We missed you guys. Glad to be back. And like I said earlier, this had to take a little break, man. Had to wait till some things started moving and shaking a little bit.
Well,
there's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Well,
so
let's just be real about it, man.
And Grover, he was still heartbroken And I'm not saying I wasn't heartbroken, but the AFC Championship game had them toe up, man. It had us all messed up. It was so close.
Look, you're that close. You know, and not taking nothing away from Kansas City. That defense played great and everything. You know, I know the dudes talking about they stopped Derrick Henry and all that. Man. But I think it's more the fact that we quit running the ball. You know, and once again, you saw, let's just be honest, Arthur Smith, I thought, did a great job this season, but he still had those tendencies where he you know, you're not running Derrick Henry. You know, you leave yourself open.
Just the numbers don't lie, man.
The numbers just don't lie.
More than 20 carries, it's a W.
It's a W, man. It's a W, man. You saw that, and the Joker was running that.
Yeah.
They were talking about him, and you know, and I was thinking like, man, you don't get tired. What's up with that?
Yeah.
You know, and you saw defense, and they were like, man, this Joker don't get tired.
That's right. Great point, Deion. We did stop Derrick Henry, but that was 2019, man. That's 2020.
We're moving on.
We're looking forward. We need to get these guys
and that's the exciting part about it. Think about it like this. We had a short off season, man.
It is.
For the first time in a long time,
we had a long run.
We had a short off season. You know, it was like, man, before you know it, the combine was here. So, you know, this is what you live for. You want to be in playoff football every season.
One thing I will say, and I'll see what you think about this. So, I think J-Rob trades out in the first round, man. I mean, I do. It is something like he would do this year. Considering it's at 29 now, unless there's somebody that has fallen to that spot,
he may trade up.
He may trade up.
You never know.
In 16, or he traded up to get Conklin and got traded around the first pick in the draft and moved back and got some extra clout and got Conklin, and you see how that worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, it's a whole different ball game, man. That's what I like about our GM.
I got you, Dion. I'm already on top of it, man.
That's what I like about our GM, because one thing I will always say, I can say about him that I love, you never know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You just don't know. And I love that about him, because all these prognosticators are out there, everything you hear out there in the Netherverse and everything, it's all rumor, it's all conjecture, it's all innuendos. You don't know what John Robinson's going to do.
You don't know. You're exactly right.
You know, he may get to the point to where he has the money. He goes in and signs Tannehill and signs Derrick Henry and franchises Jack Conklin. You never know.
You never know. You're right. That could possibly happen too. Well, girl, so we back at it,
We're back at it in full effect.
So we'll be getting back with you guys again next Sunday.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And we'll see what happens, as we get closer.
Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties straightened out.
Right, man. So some things that happened while we was gone is I changed my internet so it kind of got stuff jacked up. I had everything set up,
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, we'll have these difficulties straightened out. Hopefully, I know y'all looking at kind of sideways comments, but anyway, thank y'all for joining us tonight for another episode of Halftime Adjustment. We're back, man. We'll get back live on the regular schedule, 7 o'clock Sundays. If it changes otherwise, we'll let you know.
But hey, it's football season, baby. The 2020 season is started.
Yes, sir. Eddie Harnell, G Witt,
my man.
2020, tighten up. Here we go. Thank y'all for joining us. Peace.